we've never seen or heard of such a thing before. Not during Uhuru, not during Kibaki, not during Moi, not even Kenyatta. Lecturers on strike, students on strike, taxi apps on strike, airport staff on strike, Gen Zs are on strike. I mean, children are dying, schools are burning. I mean, it's like God is not in this government. God is not with this government. Everything they're doing, everything they touch is doomed. And what the political class basically did is they self-preserved. They realized, all of them, they realized if President Ruto goes home, we all go home. So they came on one side and they joined hands, friends and foes, and they saved themselves. So I want to talk to young people and tell them nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. Nobody will come to save you. Yeah, you have to rescue yourself. First of all, if we are getting to 2027, every young person must have a national ID. Every young person must have a voter's card. We must ensure that if we get to 2027, we are going to send every single MP who voted yes. That's the first thing. But what we are pushing now, personally, what I'm pushing for now is we dissolve this parliament, because the people gave a vote of no confidence. The moment young people entered into parliament and sat on the speaker's chair and carried the scepter, it was a vote of no confidence. We don't trust the MPs. We don't want them to represent us. They are not representing us anyway. Since they came back to the parliament, they've never talked about the Adani deal. They've never talked about the young people who died outside parliament. They've never talked about the new funding model. They've never talked about the lecturer strike, the taxi. But now that we are touching on the CDF, now they're talking. Yeah? And young people should be ready. Should be ready to take over their country constitutionally. And somebody was asking me, Eric, what do you mean this government will not get to 2027? Are you planning a coup? No, nobody's planning a coup. We're not going to overthrow this government. This government will overthrow itself. It is actually overthrowing itself, slowly but surely. Yeah, it is the most unpopular government ever in Africa, not just Kenya. It's only been 2 years. Right now, President Ruto is playing games with his deputy Rigathi. Walipigania simu, wakaongea, wakakunywa chai, wakasema sasa we Rigathi enda ujifanye na kufukuza. Alafu tupigane, alafu spotlight itoke kwa Adani. Maybe they're even signing the deal now. Tukiongea kwa EX. Usiku tu wana sign. Si tukiongea storia, usikuze Murima. Oh, don't impeach me. It's all a ploy. Ruto is working in cahoots with Gachagua to divert our attention from the issues that really matter in this country. And they're shooting themselves in the leg because I was telling them that if there's a government official or a UD official on this X-Space, go and tell President Ruto that the silence of Gen Zs, that the silence of Kenyans is very dangerous. Ukikosea bibi yako, umerudi nyumbani, umemkosea sana na ana smile tu, anapika tu, hata hajanuna. So I think Kenya is heading in the wrong direction. Kenya is heading in the wrong direction, and the political class is on one side, and the Kenyans on the other side, and Kenyans will be forced sooner or later to come together and to constitutionally get this parliament out through a vote during the elections, or even constitutionally. The people can come together and eject a leader who doesn't listen. Imefanyika hapa Bangladesh. Kwani nini ilifanyika? Hakuna. The president left the country not because anything unconstitutional happened. The people took back the power. and it's constitutional. It clearly states and stipulates that if the representatives of the people are unable to represent the people, then the people are left with no other option but to represent themselves. Na hivyo ndio wetu waliingia parliament. There are 53 million Kenyans, and the government of Kenya has less than 2,000 people. You cannot compare 2,000 people to 53 million people. It is the voice of the people that must and will be heard. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Wakisema hatutaki, our airport is okay. Tuko sawa. Planes are taking off, planes are landing. Our airport is leaking, tuko sawa. Let it leak, do not touch it. We don't repair our Adani, we don't want. Tuko na runway, na hata mimi saizi nimetoka Nairobi, nime take off, na kesho nikirudi nitaland. We are okay. Don't repair it, don't touch it. Iko sawa, imekuwa sawa since ilijengwa na Kenyatta. Hakuna ndege haija take off. So don't repair for us. We don't want. That is my those are my remarks as far as the government, the national government is concerned. The biggest elephant in the room is not even the national government, is the county government. And we are going to reduce the counties from 47 to 8. We are going to do away with, we are going to abolish the Senate in its entirety. We are going to do away with the nominated members of parliament, nominated MCAs, nominated women reps, nominated senators. We are going to do away with the deputy governors. We are going to do away with the women rep position. Because there are governors who are buying a bottle of soda at 1.2 million. There are governors that are buying a wheelbarrow at 3 million. Most of Kenyan money disappears through corruption at the county level. The intention of devolution was good, was to devolve services. But we ended up devolving corruption. Why? And I'm currently collecting signatures. Saizi tuko 750,000 signatures. We require 1 million signatures to go to referendum. We will not only get 1 million signatures. We are going for 5 million signatures. So that was the same, easy 1 million meleta sijui 300,000 aziko sawa. We will get 5 million. So to go into a referendum. And we're going to reduce the number of counties from 47 to 8. That is the former provinces. Kazi ya Senate ni nini? Wanafanya kazi yao ni nini? Kazi ya juzi walitoa mwangaza. Alafu the following day koti Cameroon State. Kazi yao kazi yao ni kunini? Ni ku oversight. Morara mwenyewe anafanya peke yake. One man. Why? Imagine your salary tunapea senators, salary tunapea women reps, salary tunapea nominated, salary tunapea 47 governors. That alone is enough to give us free education. We are going back to Coast County, Amapwani County. There will be 8. Nyanza County, Western County, Central County, Rift Valley County, Northeastern County. Zenye zilikuwa with one governor. America has 400 million citizens. They only have 50 governors. 400 million. Only 50 governors. Kenya has 52 million. We have 47 governors. We are going to fix this nation. When Ruto alikuwa anasema bottom up, sisi tunaifix top bottom. Tunaanza juu. Tunaanza juu. And President Ruto must realize that he was not born a president. He was born a Kenyan. Hakukuwa president 2 years ago, ilikuwa ni Uhuru. Na Uhuru hayuko sahi, Kibaki hayuko, may he rest in peace. Moi hayuko. He was not born a president. He is a Kenyan. And so no Kenyan is above the law. Whether we're a judge, we're a president, we're a citizen, when people join hands together, no one is above the law. And the time is coming, and it's coming very soon. The president will have to listen to the voice of the people. Tulimwambia afukuze ministers, akawafukuza. Kwa nini aliwafukuza kama aliwarudisha? He fired them, he rehired them. Wakashikana, wakafanya self-preservation. But to the young people, President William Samoei Ruto is the last of his generation, and they know it. He is the last. Alafu saizi wameanza hii ujinga ya you know, they're really testing people's patience. And I don't know why they didn't learn from what happened in parliament. Sijui kama Mungu amewaficha, amafunika. Sijui kama Mungu ameharden their hearts so that God can destroy them. How insulting. How insulting is it for a government to even have the conversation of presidential term limit extension in 2024? How can we even think, leave alone have that conversation? How can that even be on a newspaper? That we wanataka kuongeza term limit to 7 years. And when these powerful men come together against the weak, they'll be really shocked. Because as I've told you, there are 53 million Kenyans. And from the president to the MCA, our fee is 4,000. So 2,000 people cannot decide for 52 million people how they're going to live their lives. It is Kenyans who will decide the direction that Kenya takes.
Eric, do you feel like we are going to forget when that time comes? Because Kenyans are good at forgetting, and Kenyans, we are easily gullible. We are bought off. Kama hii time ya maandamano, tuliona wale guns wenye walilipo wakafanya Kenya walifanya, wakaribu maandamano. Do you feel like by the time ifike 2027, watu watakuwa shasahau, ama watu watachoka, ama you're saying this is Gen Z, they're not gonna get tired?
Wanjira, my dear, something is happening in Kenya that has never happened before. And that is the mistake that the political class are making. They are used to lying to people, and they think that same script will work. It is not goons. It is not members of a political party that entered the parliament. It was young people. Come 2027, the shock, wanaonanga watu wanasema they will not believe. They will surely not believe. And may they continue believing that we will forget. Aki naomba Mungu sana wafanye tu wasemea, hawa si tutawadanganya bwana. Nyinyi watu wa bodaboda, nyinyi watu wa mama mboga, si serikali itakuwa yenu. I hope and pray they keep believing that it is business as usual. Any smart person with common sense can tell that there's a shift in this country. Young people are actively involved in politics, in demonstrations, on X spaces, on TV stations, on the streets. Wachana na zile demonstrations za baba, za Raila. Zile ni amenyang'anywa kura, venye walikuwa na muibia na watu wake wametoka, supporters wake. These are Kenyans. Wanakuja kuambia we are partyless. We are tribeless. And the first thing, if you're a young person here, and you're listening to me, ikifika 2027, tuchukue hizo mavitambulisho za wazazi wetu zote. Mimi nishaambia mama yangu, atatafuta hiyo ID yake, atashangaa ilienda wapi. On election day, mama yangu ataamka aseme Otis. Ananitanga Otis. Yawa niliweka ID yangu hapa, yawa imeenda wapi? Mama mimi sijaona. Si kura yangu ilikuwa hapa kwa meza. I will hide it. A very tribal generation. Our parents, our grandparents, a very tribal generation. Mtu wetu, Morima. The highest level of tribalism and partisan. Chukweni hizo maidimu, fiche, na muwafungie huko kwa nyumba. It is about the future of this nation. My auntie, my mom, wako 73. They've lived their life. My daughter, Kyla, is only 1 year. What about her tomorrow? We are securing our future and our children's future. Our parents were kwende huko na tutafunga hizo mamlango. We'll deal with this old generation. And we'll start it from our households. Ficha hizo ID zao. Ukisikia mamako unamaliza unaenda kupigia nani kura? I mean napigia mtu wangu, mtu wetu. Huyu sio Mjaluo, huyu simpigi. Chukua hiyo ID na ufiche. We are securing a future for our children and the incoming generation. Hawa wazee washaishi. The youngest amongst them is 65, 62. Washaiba, washaishi. They have gotten married. They've worked. They've saved. They've built homes. They're almost at the end of their lives. Alafu wanataka kutuingizia tribalism na partyism. They will not believe it. Young people are going to be on the ballot. Young people are going to vote. We are going to ensure and tuanza kupanga every polling station itakuwa na internet. Itakuwa na Wi-Fi. We will TikTok our way into power. We will Instagram and expose or tweet our way into power. We will dance, we will sing, we will do comedy clips. We will have people at the polling station wasema sasa hivi niko hapa live, kuna hii gari imeingia ya blue imekuja na ballot box. Unaweka unaenda live. Tunakuja hapo tutawapiga. We are taking back our nation. We are securing our future and at all cost. Whatever it takes. And tutawapiga sana by the. Simamo walipiga wazungu kwani hao ni nani? Tutawapiga. We will surprise these parents of ours. Tukikupata hapo ati hizi maujinga mnafanyanga ati citizen ati sijui ballot boxes zimepata, tutakuwa hapo na nyaunyo, tutapiga hao wazee na hao wanasiasa. This is a warning. And if you think it's a comedian speaking, that's the same thing they used to say. And Wanjira, some of us have the moral authority. Because when I started this thing 2 years ago, February of 2023, nilishikwa 11 times nikapigania hiyo finance bill 2023 ikapita. Wakiulizwa what do you think about Omondi demonstrating in front of parliament? Which one? The comedian. Huyo ameishiwa na comedy. If they think this is a comedy, there's nothing to smile about. There's nothing to laugh about. We are going to take back our country by force and by fire.
Thank you, Rico. I love the insights that you're putting in for the youth by the youth. Obum, Kayoti Sonko, I wanted to know, do you think what Eric is saying about the digital space, can we really be able to use the digital space when it comes to elections in 2027?
Okay, so thank you so much, Anne. Of course, I'm one of the guys who loves the digital space. And you remember very well that I told one and only William Samoei Ruto, I rarely call him the president nowadays because he doesn't deserve, even though he was elected or selected. And so I told the president that come 2027, here on this express, we are going to send him and all the members of parliament, any elected leader who has been corrupt, back home. That son of a daughter from Sugoi, alinichekelea. And so probably these politicians, they feel like with the young people, we cannot use these digital platforms that we have been provided by the technology to change this nation. And of course, I feel that if we were able to use this digital space to do mobilization in the past events, and we turned out in large numbers to protest on the streets, then we are able, of course, to use this digital space to do the mobilization for the next general election. Just like Eric is saying, I don't know kama itafika 2027. It's very, very soon. In fact, it should be tomorrow. And of course, when we'll be doing that mobilization to elect leaders with integrity, to elect non-corrupt leaders, and then if at all our president and any other leader mwenye ako saizi atavai for that seat and they get a vote more than one, they will tell us where wamepata hizo vote, because there is no any Kenyan in his or her own mind that can go on the ballot and elect such people that we have in that parliament, that such people that we have in the state house, such people that we are even having in the judiciary. So the political class currently, they should be well informed that we, the young people, we are really tired with whatever they are doing. Yeah, we are really tired by them dividing us in tribal lines. We are really tired with them pretending that they don't know that the young people have been killed on the streets, but they know well that they are going to be impeached. So sisi kama young people, we've said we are tribeless, we are leaderless. And that's why hata saizi, when you go to the ground, I've been touring some towns with Morara and the team. We have been going out there to educate our people. Mimi si kutoka hapa nikaenda Bungoma because I come from Bungoma. I went to Mount Kenya, and I was talking with my good friends from Mount Kenya. I was educating them on the matters Constitution. I was educating them on matters tribalism. I was educating them on matters taxes they pay, and of course the corrupt government we are having. And even tomorrow we are headed to the Rift Valley. We'll be injecting there. And by doing that, we are mobilizing each and everything we are doing on this digital platform. And so in the next general election, I believe that this digital platform will be a very good platform to give us energy, to give us power, to give us opportunity to interact with people, that we can gauge their integrity, that we can look into what they've been doing in the past. We judge them by whatever they've been doing, and then we now decide whether Anne is going for woman rep where she wants to go, whether Wanjira is going for member of parliament wherever she wants to go. This digital platform will be the genesis of everything, the next general election. Thank you.
And I like that you've brought out about you guys going from maybe county to county doing the civic education. Maybe you can tell us how the reaction is out there, how are the people reacting, and do people really understand the Constitution and their rights?
So, Anne, recently we were in Embu town, and we were talking to the people of Embu. And there is this person who believes that he's a member of parliament. I don't know who elected him. Akakuja hapo and he tried to infiltrate our meeting. Yeah, we were just at the center of Embu town, and whatever happened to that member of parliament, sijui anajita from Mbeere North, I don't know his name, simjui vizuri. That exactly is going to happen to each and every politician who is in bed with the executive at the moment. And so you find out that people who go kwa ground, they are aware about the Constitution. They are aware about the challenges that we are facing. I was even surprised to know that those guys wenye wanatoka huko Embu deep ndani huko kabisa Karura, mali hakuna hata stima, hakuna hata njia ya lami. Those people, they only have one dispensary yenye hata haina choo, hawana maji. They travel, they move in search of water to even more than 10 kilometers. Wanaenda huko chini Tana River kwa border ya Kitui to look for water. These people are so much conversant with the Constitution. They know what is happening. And so sisi hata tukienda huko kwa ground trying to educate them, we are just trying to remind them what is happening, because they know. Any person who doesn't know what is happening in the country, then probably they are not patriots of this nation. And so huko kwa ground, the response is so good, because honestly, the member of parliament kama angetaka kuja kuinfiltrate our meeting, na kwa ground watu maybe they are not aware of what is happening, they couldn't even protect us. So the young people, the Gen Zs, the millennial, the Gen X, the baby boomers, wale wanajielewa huko kwa ground, they are giving us a very nice audience, the feedback is good. And of course, if you are going to do this for the next probably 5 to 6 months, then this nation is going to be transformed from to a very new nation, totally different from what the likes of Ruto have been expecting. And so the ground is really hostile for those people who are siding with the rogue government, the government that has been killing us. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Mabunga, for that insight, because I was wondering if you guys are going out there, how is the reception? Of course, we know not everywhere that you go, everyone will welcome you. So thank you for those insights. And maybe back to you, Angera. What can you advise the youths? Because I see so many youths on this X space right now. What can you say that the youth can do to get more involved in the government and also in the Constitution?
Yes, and I think that the time has come for us to do more of what, for example, KOT Sonko is doing, which is to take personal responsibility for the progress of this country, which is to take personal responsibility for the choice of leaders that we have. And how do we do that? For example, push the IEBC to push for the IEBC to be reconstituted, so that we can recall all of those members of parliament that had the audacity to vote yes on that punitive finance bill. Take personal responsibility. Join those social justice groups that are uko kwenu. I know, for example, in Githurai, there's a very vibrant social justice group. Social justice groups. Join those social justice groups. Talk about what can happen and who it is, for example, among you that can be elected for political position in order for that person to represent you at the levels where these people are occupying but are not representing your interest. It is time to take personal responsibility. Uko kwenu, start with your mother, for example. What is your mother saying about the leadership in this country? What does she think about, for example, the impeachment of Gachagua? If her narrative is, huyo ni mtu wetu, they are punishing Mount Kenya, do what Eric said, take away that ID, because this is a person, correctly so, that is going to get to the ballot box and think, shares the same name as me, is from Mount Kenya, I am going to give him a free pass. There's no time for free passes anymore. The time to take personal responsibility is now. Keep up with what is happening. What do you know about the Adani deal? What do you know about the Senate sittings? What do you know about, for example, the new funding model? What do you know about what is happening in KA? What do you know about why the students are on strike? Why the teachers are on strike? What do you know about the doctors that are being punished in this country for doing just their job? It is time to look for information where it can be found in order for you to, number one, stay in the know, and B, when the time comes for it, vote and for the right person. Obviously, chukueni IDs, chukueni kura, and this is the message that should be in the streets even before you learn what the constitution is. Kwa mbogi yenu, kila mtu akona ID, kila mtu atachukua kura. Follow up with each and every one of them, because now I don't think that KOT can tour every. I think they will try. They will go from city to city. They will go from county to county. But at the end of it, the buck stops with us. So we have to take personal responsibility, and that is why the youth infiltrating parliament and getting into parliament, passing a vote of no confidence, that was personal responsibility. We are going to come here to see what you do here with the power that we have given you. It is time to take personal responsibility, Anne.
Thank you so much, Wanjera. And maybe you can just also highlight on where are the youth thriving in this government and how has the government protected the youth? Because I'm still so much on that point, because at the end of the day, I feel like the youth are not protected by the government. Sometimes I feel like the youth are against, the government is against the youth, and, there's no cohesion between the two of them. Because at the end of the day, we already have a case study. We know what happened during Mandamano.
Yes, and what you're feeling is valid, and I think that everyone that is here can agree with those sentiments, that there is no protection coming from the government towards the youth. I think that the words of Farah Malim are still very fresh in my conscience and in the conscience of everyone that is here, that if it were left to him, he could have murdered. The word Anne is murdered, bold, underlined, italicized, murdered 5,000 youth every day. Not just 5,000, but 5,000 every day. And he continued to add that there is no option when it comes to statecraft, that essentially the government would not have an option but to murder 5,000 of us every day for doing what we did. We later saw in a very shameful statement, I think when Ruto was abroad, I think he said that the youth that were murdered in the streets in the protests was, they went to the streets over fake information. Right? So all of the 61 people that have died and the people that are still missing died and are missing because of fake information. Today we saw Interior CS, or was it yesterday? Interior CS Kindiki Kithure tell us that all of the people that died, it cannot be it cannot be put on the police that, just because they died from a bullet, then it cannot necessarily be blamed on the police. And the question is, okay, so were the young people murdering themselves? So that is number one. In a very broad brushing moment, I will say that even just the lives of the youth in this country have not been protected by the government. That is number one. Number two, I will go back to Article 55, which I was pointing at Anne when we began, and I told you that the responsibility of the government in this constitutional responsibility of the government to the youth is in 4 areas. Number one, to ensure that there is education and training. We can see what is happening with the new education funding model that is making education completely unaffordable for the youth, and it is making it a preserve for just a few that can afford it. So number one, education and training is not being provided. Number two, to ensure that there are opportunities for the youth to be part of the social, to be part of all the spheres of life in this country, and that is political, social, and economic spheres. When the youth went to the streets, which is now a political sphere, they have been murdered and shot, and there are no current investigations. Nobody has been held responsible. And might I remind you that there's still people that are missing. So in terms of the political and social spheres in this country, they are not protected. Economically, you are seeing how this country is such a hostile environment to begin. Even a small biz, where I sell mandazi. Today, if I decided to sell groceries, thanks to Sabina Chege, there's a horticulture bill that will require me to take out a license to sell kitungu in this country. How is that the youth being protected in an economic sphere? That there are no jobs, but I cannot even begin my own hustle because the government is very quickly hot on my heels for what I can pay them. I have not even recovered a single dime, but even before I start to sell, I need to take out a license. Make it make sense, Anne. Number 3 is access to employment. Granted, it is not on the government to provide employment, but they need to provide a conducive environment for businesses to thrive, for them to create employment in this country. They need to provide education and training for young people to employ themselves. They need to prepare to provide education and training for young people to have skills outside the white collar jobs, other skills that they can do with their hands. That the government needs to provide such an environment for the youth to thrive. And so in those 3 areas, the government has completely failed. Now, the right also for the youth to be protected from harmful practices and exploitation. We have seen, for example, in the fight for illicit alcohol and things such as that, it is a political battle. You see the deputy president saying that, he has just made it a political, and not just him, even others. And the reason they're trying to make sure that that there's an ongoing crackdown on illicit brew is because it has to benefit them. In what way? For example, to make sure that in Mount Kenya, which is where this is most apparent and it is hurting most people in the Mount Kenya area, to make sure that they can secure votes. Because if the young people are lost in illicit brew, they cannot be able to come to the table and reason mambo ya constitutionalism. They cannot come to the table and reason about the election of leaders. So our taking them out of illicit brew is not necessarily because we want to help them, it's because we want to secure votes. So, and you are absolutely correct when you say that, in your opinion, the youth have not been protected in this country, because they have not. Constitutionally, the systems in place have failed the youth.
Thank you, Wanjira. I think the system has really failed the youth, because the youth no longer have confidence anymore. And Mabonga, I want to put you on the spotlight, because I would love to ask you, if you are the president of this country, what would you change about maybe the constitution, or what would you do to favor the youth?
Okay. Thank you so much, Anne. First of all, I wish I could have been the president. But of course, currently, with the constitution, just as I said, we have a very nice constitution, but the implementation by those people in office is very poor. And so the young people, whatever it is affecting them currently is the lack of jobs, the unemployment rate. You find out that more than 80% of the youth, even on this platform, more than even 90% of the youth who are on this platform, they are jobless. But these people, they have their degrees, they have their diplomas, they have their masters, they have gone to school, they have learned. But now, they don't have the jobs. So if I was in the capacity of a president, of course, I would have created jobs within our boundary, within this nation. But the government we are having, that they are lying to us that they are creating jobs. They are going even abroad every now and then. As I speak, there is someone who is even flying currently from one nation to another nation. They will come here to cheat on us, to cheat us. That I mean to lie us that they are going to look for the jobs for us, the youth. But whenever they come back, the people they have met, wanatuambia whatever the government is telling us is total lie. And so, to cure this disease that the youth are having at the moment, it's just create enough jobs for the people who have left universities, colleges, to occupy those offices. Tuache kuleta watu kutoka nje. I'm sure that we have even people who can construct even that runway ile ya yenye wanataka kupeana kwa Adani. We have a lot of the youth who have gone to school, they are properly equipped with knowledge, and they can transform this nation. So I think the lack of employment, the unemployment rate is what is affecting us, the youth. And if I was the president of this nation, if I wanted to change this nation, then first of all, I will give jobs to those youth. Because if the youth, they don't have the jobs, then wanaenda kukaa pale mtaani tu. Kenda mali kama the Coast region, the Nyanza region, hapa Nairobi, you find out that these youth are using more drugs because they don't have the jobs. Yeah, they are engaging in illegal activities because hawana job. And so that's exactly what is affecting us as the young people at the moment as we speak. If we rectify that, we'll have a very nice nation.
Thank you, Mabonga. And maybe just to throw it to you, Anjera, you see, sometimes it's not easy walking the talk because maybe we are on side B. Let's look at it from, they say, if you have to you want to understand someone, you have to walk a mile in their shoe. So maybe we don't understand what's happening behind the doors because the president was telling us about, the finance bill, we'll sort this out, we'll sort that out. It's lies after lies after lies. And even with the lies, we've seen how the talk of impeaching the deputy president, I don't know if it's just for showbiz. I don't know if it's true. Maybe you can also talk about impeaching the president because now you're here and you're on the legal side. Maybe you understand it better. Can you be able to hear me, Wanjira? Have you been hearing did you hear the question? Mabonga, can you be able to hear me?
Yeah, personally, I can hear you loud and clear. I doubt if
I don't know why I don't know why she can't be able to hear me. But maybe just to throw it back to you, Mabonga, as we wait for her, the question, I throw it to you. It's not, maybe we don't understand it because everyone who goes to that seat, they promise things, they're on this side, they're talking about, I'm going to give you jobs, the roads are going to be fine, and all that talk. But maybe when they go out there, maybe it's not as easy as it looks from our end. And also, maybe you can put in talking about the impeachment of the deputy president.
Okay, so personally, from my side, I feel like these politician or other leaders, they really don't do proper analyzation of the seats they are going to occupy or the positions. And you find out that whatever they come to sell on us, their manifestos and ideas, their agendas, they even don't have that roadmap on how they are going to do that. Yeah. But what they want, they always come to us and tell us what exactly what we want to hear. If a politician comes to me and tells me that, Mabonga, I'm going to give you a job, I'm going to ensure that this road from a certain area to a certain point to another point is going to be reconstructed, and it will be a nice job, a nice road. Personally, of course, I'll buy the idea. But then when they get into offices, they easily forget that they promise to do a certain things. And so we the young people, so we are saying that before you come and promise us to give us even jobs, to come and promise us to build for us stadiums, to come and promise that we are going to have free education, ensure that in your agenda, in your manifesto, before you come up with that manifesto, ensure you analyze. Yeah, look at how much you're going to receive. Probably if you are a member of parliament, how much you're going to receive from the national government in your basket. How much are you going to spend this? If I promise these guys jobs, is this money that I'm going to receive from the national government, is it going to be enough to employ these people? Is this money going to be enough to ensure that a certain road is well equipped and reconstructed? Is it enough that even these schools we are talking about, we are going to have enough desks, we are going to have enough chairs, we are going to have enough teachers? But if you just come from a point blank, just from nowhere, not knowing exactly what is affecting the young people, what is exactly affecting this nation, what you are going to receive as allocation of fund, then you better even just come and tell us that elect me and then we'll see what we can do. Hapo at least you'll be utakuwa ni mtu muungwana na mkweli. But if you're going to lie to us, when I get there, I'm going to create jobs. When I get there, the roads is going to be constructed. When I get there in 3 months' time, a stadium in Iwote is going to be well equipped. A stadium in Mombasa is going to be well equipped. But you enter there, then you come with another lies that we find empty coffers. So you didn't know that the coffers were empty, but you promised us that you are going to create certain things, thinking that we will be forgetting. And so personally, I feel like these politicians, they should stop doing politics and do exact as what they promised to us. And hiyo ndio one of the things yenye imekuwa inatukasirisha, going out there to chant and sing on the streets, because we currently the current generation is a generation that has gone to school properly, equipped with knowledge. And if you think that the lies that zimekuwa ziki propel on the older generation, they are going to propel on us, then we are totally sorry. And on the impeachment ya Gachagua, personally, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's just a distraction from what we have been doing here on these platforms and even out there. But if I was a member of parliament, Gachagua, Ruto, Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and any other person like Wetangula, all of them ningeweka kwa one basket and wapeleke home. And whenever they reach home, we'll now come to look at the things they have been doing. The corruption cases, yeah? We dig deeper. If we find someone that is so guilty, we take them to Shimolatewa. And even hapa sijui kunaitwa aje hapa Nairobi, yeah? So, Mimi, I'll not talk much about that issue of Gachagua being impeached, because the same trick Gachagua wants to use is the same trick that Ruto used when he was in office as the deputy president during Uhuru Kenyatta's reign. And so I think I have less to talk about that.
Okay, that is fine. I think we've lost Wanjira at some point, but maybe we can just go on with you for a few more minutes as we try to wrap up this conversation. Let me ask you something about the youth. Yes, we we're saying the youth have been left out in the constitution, the youth have been left out in the government. But on my show, I interact so much with the youth, and when I get to talk to them and to interact with them, wanasemanga uwezi saidia mtu mwenye hajisaidi. Sometimes you try to help the youth. Maybe, for example, let me give a good example. I host so many artists. They're complaining about their royalties, but when you ask them if they have been registered, they say, mimi siwezi register, mimi sina hiyo time, it's a waste of time. The youth sometimes au ndo wanajiekanga kwa positions zingine, and the reason why I'm saying this is because umeambiwa if you need to register a business you need ABCD. Yes, I know sometimes it's a lot of money, I know sometimes it's a lot of documents, but at least you need to try. You need to meet the government halfway, because we cannot be on the other side mabonga, we are complaining about gava ifanyi gava sijui imefanya nini. Don't you think we also have a role to play? Ndio ikue sasa tuseme enyewe amejisaidia, wacha tu try pia kumsaidia. Sometimes I feel like the youth tunajiachilianga, tunataka kuspoon feediwa. What do you have to say about that?
So personally, I will take you back to a certain job that was advertised by the national government of Kenya, yeah, KRA enumerators. Hope you remember that saga. Most of
yes,
the youth,
I do.
yeah. When you were applying those jobs, we were told that for you to qualify, you must be having at least a C plane in KCSE. Yeah, that was the only requirement. Honestly, mimi hata wali nilikuwa, we applied. A lot of people applied for those jobs. But do you know the outcome ilikuwa aje? The outcome, you find out that most of the youth, when you apply, they were shortlisted in the first round. Yeah. Then we did interview on a digital platform. Then on the second round, the answers zikakuja. Those who have been selected, yeah, to go and attend a certain training. I don't know where it was. It in Nakuru or somewhere in Gilgil. I don't know. But now, we came to realize that most of us were left out. And then we said, let us analyze this list and see where we went wrong. When we analyzed that list, we find out that the people who had been selected, they were probably coming from one or two communities in our nation. And sorry to say about that, because I'm really against tribalism. Yeah. And so we were asking ourselves, if we have created time to apply for these jobs, we have even went ahead to attach our documents. We have even went ahead to email the officer in charge, tell them that personally I'm qualified, but in my area there is no person who has been selected for this job. Honestly, it demoralized most of us, and you find out that those people who are doing these advertisements, they are targeting a certain group of people. So even as much as you apply, yeah, but you are not coming from a certain group of people that is being targeted, honestly, you will not be selected. And so you find out that at times, yani tushajiambia tu, hata niki-apply, I don't think they will give me, because you have tried so many times and the outcome has been the same. And you know what unaambiwa, that if we continue doing something in the same manner and expect a different results, then you are totally doomed, because it has never happened. And so you find out that most of the young people have been frustrated whenever they apply the jobs, they are not given. Whenever they go even ahead to produce their papers and whatever, when they take them to those offices, their papers have been put in the dustbins. So it has been demoralizing most of us. And so sisi saizi, we are really tired. Yeah. Even if they advertise today a job, honestly, I know that it's only a certain group of people that will get that job from probably a certain community. And so we are so much conversant with their games at the moment. And so if we want everything to be okay, let us just get away. I mean, let us just send this the government, the leaders home packing. We bring in new fresh blood, bring in new people who will probably do exactly as the citizen of this nation they expect. So that's my submission on your question, and yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Mabonga, for that insight. And I see Wanjira is back. Wanjira, are you with us?
Yes, sorry, Anne. I am back. Sorry, I don't know, maybe KPLC could not.
Ah. Okay, Polly, about that, yeah. Maybe just I'll ask you what I just asked Mabonga, because sometimes I feel like the youth, sometimes they don't package themselves, if lack of a better word, but they don't package themselves well enough, maybe to be involved in the government more. You find that, I don't know if this will come out the wrong way, but for example, when the president said, okay, I want to talk to, I know they were leaderless, I know Gen Z was leaderless and all that, but he said, guys, you need to meet me halfway. I need to talk to you people to like come here, have a conversation. But sometimes I feel like maybe the youth don't package themselves well enough, because maybe they didn't expect the president would say, okay, fine, I'm going to come to your space. Okay, fine, I'm going to come to where you're at so that we talk about these things. So I was just telling Mabonga before you joined us that sometimes the youth tuko na opportunities huko nje, lakini we are not able to package ourselves. I gave a good example of artists. I interact with artists on my show. When they come there, they're complaining about royalties. Oh, we are not getting royalties. Oh, tunalipwa 250. Oh, unalipwa sijui pesa kidogo kidogo. But if you ask them if they're registered, they tell you, okay, no, I'm not registered. Unajua huko kuna corruption. Unajua hii gava yetu. Do you also feel like the youth are failing presenting themselves, or maybe unapatiwa exam but you are not well prepared for it?
Yes, and let me answer your question. First of all, I do not mean no that I feel that the youth are not prepared, because I have not met anyone more prepared for the opportunities in this country than the youth. Let me start with what you said. For example, the invitation to go to have a conversation with the president. That was nothing but a gimmick for his political mileage. If you remember, the condition given by the youth at the point at which the president invited them was, there is no way we are going to come see you while the bodies of our brothers and sisters, the bodies of our comrades are in the way. That we would be stepping on the blood, literally stepping on the blood of our brothers and sisters to come have a conversation with you. You will remember that this president has also not acknowledged that it was because the youth saw the punitive aspect of the finance bill for them to go to the streets. What he has said is that the youth were misinformed. It was fake information. It was fake news. And when he was asked about taking responsibility for the people that have died, I remember he was asked a very direct question. A 12-year-old boy took 8 bullets to his body. What do you have to say about that? What he said is that that boy is still alive, right? No, Mr. President, that boy later died. So let me just start by saying that there has been no goodwill or good faith by this government as far as dealing with the youth is concerned. Because what they could have done, in fact, right now, there's nothing more that the government can do for the youth right now. And I would like to contradict Mabonga in this. He would create jobs for me. If I was the president today, I would take into proper elaborate investigations as to the deaths of the youth that have died. That is what I would do. Number 2, I would put Farah Maalim in jail, because there's no way you express intention to kill 5,000 people and go away scot-free with it. So no, and forgive me for disagreeing with you. I do not feel that the youth are not necessarily prepared. What the youth are seeing is a lack of goodwill and a lack of good faith as far as dealing with them by the government is concerned.
Thank you for that insight, Wanjira. And maybe as we are trying to wrap up this conversation, I know we have different opinions, but I would love to know, where are we headed, Mabonga, as a country? Where are we headed? And as Eric said, people are going to be shocked in 2027. Will we still keep up the spirit that we have, the Gen Z spirit? Because I feel like right now, okay, maybe they're just silent. they are waiting for 2027 elections, or maybe they just at some point they were like, we cannot have more people dying. But I can also see other activists, they're still on TV, they're still fighting for it. So where are we headed as a country? The president, by the way, is away, right? He's ashaendelea na biashara zake.
Oh yeah, the president is away, and of course Nambiwa, when he comes back he'll be heading to Congo. Sijui kama ndiye ameenda Congo, I'm not, I rarely follow his itinerary. And so where we are heading currently as a nation, I want to talk from a point of being a young person, is that we the young people have identified a problem, and the problem is knowledge. So we are going to offer civic education to inject every now and then to ensure that we preach good news of the Constitution of Kenya, good news of what is happening to the people out there, to ensure that we enlighten them what is really happening. And so after that, I want you to mark this date. Come the next general election, I told you it must not be like, it shouldn't even be 2027. It can be even tomorrow. The young people are going to come out in large numbers. They will vie for these political seats. They will be elected, and they will enter the parliament, the senate. Some of them will be the women rep. If they want to go for governorship, they can go for them. And then that's exactly where we are going to have a rebirth of this nation. And so currently I feel like the young people, we are so much informed of what is happening, and we are so eager that the IEBC be constituted so that we can recall these members of parliament, so that we can even recall even the senators. Yeah. And then after doing that, we go and vie for these positions. Personally, I told you that I'm doing this, but of course I'm eyeing for a political seat in my constituency, Kimilili. Yeah, I'll ensure that I try as much as possible to clinch that seat and come to the parliament, the national parliament, and see whether this parliament that we are going to form in the next general election will be controlled by a remote from the State House. We the young people are not going to sit back and see such things happening. And so currently I feel like where we are heading to is we are heading to the rebirth of a new Kenya, the rebirth of a new nation, and the rebirth of a new generation, a generation that exactly wants everything to happen as it is prescribed and in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya. The Constitution of 2010 that was promulgated by the late Mwai Kibaki. May his soul rest in peace. So that's my submission.
I am waiting for that day, Mabonga, that we will be well represented by people like you and the youth in the government, because tuko na wasanii, we have artists in the government, but wasanii ndio wanalia. We have the youth. We have seen youth being elected into the government, but still I'm not feeling the impact. I'm still not feeling the impact that we were expecting. So let's hope that for the next elections, we have more youth who will get into parliament and actually do something great for our country. And maybe Wanjira, as we wrap it up, you can give us your last words and tell us, where do you think we are headed as a country, and what do you think will happen in 2027? Will we still have the same fire, or has the fire died?
Yeah, I would like to I agree fully with what Mabonga has said and what Eric Omondi said, that what we have right now is the last of the rot and the filth that we have in Parliament, purporting to be representatives of the people. That this is the last of their this is the last of their kind. What we're going to have in 2027 is a Parliament that is by the youth, for the youth. What we're going to have in 2027 is an electioneering period that is going to be spearheaded by the youth that are hungry for political power in order to use that power to benefit themselves, because just 2 representatives, for example, in Parliament is not sufficient representation. So yes, we're still going to have that fire. I think that fire has already been properly started and kicked off. Like I said, we have a lot going on in people's assemblies and social justice centers. We have a lot of work being done by, for example, Morara and Keoti Sonko and others that are going from door to door, county to county, looking at the development there and telling the people to shut their eyes. As far as nonsense such as the impeachment of the DP is concerned, that is none of our business. If they want to kick him out, let them kick him out. Let them do whatever they want to each other. That is not our business, nor our fight anymore. What we have now is a youth that have their eyes both open, gearing towards not just civic education for the sake of it, but civic education for the sake of taking political power, to use it to correct the systems that have been that have gone wrong because it has been used by the people that have not been representing us in the way they're supposed to. So that is where I see us going, and I am looking forward, just like you, Anne, to 2027 and the future beyond that, a future that is beyond people that have the audacity to negotiate, for example, extension of term limits where people are still dying, people are still missing. The list goes on and on, Anne, but I am looking forward to a different Kenya, which is going to be spearheaded by the youth.
Thank you so much, Wanjira and Mabonga. But Mabonga, you can add anything else that you might want to as we wrap up this. Any advice to the youth? Anything that you'd like to just a punchline or something like that before we close this live?
Okay, so the young people, this is my advice to you. If you want this nation to prosper, and then let us get out of our comfort zone and fight for our nation. Yeah, regardless of what will happen, regardless of the outcome, let us come out every now and then to always speak out, to speak about the issues that they are affecting us. And of course, as one of the philosophers said, be the change that you wish to see in our country. When that last day, when your sun will be setting, ensure that you've left this nation better than you find it when your sun was rising. And so, as I said, from tomorrow, on Friday to Monday, I will be touring the Rift Valley region to offer civic education. So if you feel like you want to join us, ensure you let me know in advance in my inbox. Join us, let us go there and educate our people from the Rift. And so that's what I wanted to say, and have a lovely night to you all.
Thank you so much, Mabonga. Wanjira, any last words, any punchlines, advice, and your social media pages, and if you'd love to share your number?
Right, and I think that what I have to say is this, that in addition to, like I keep saying, civic education, the point is to take political power. And I think that this I have learned from Buka Omole, that keeps saying that the point of civic education, especially among the young people, is not just so we can know what the provisions are. It is for us to get those, to get to parliament and represent ourselves, even not just even just in parliament, even at the top county levels, as governors and even as the president. So what I'm going to tell young people is that if you think, for example, uko kwenu, you can be a better MCA than the MCA that is there, start the work now. If you think you can be a better woman rep, start talking to the people there right now. If you think you can be a better MP, whatever it is, you think you are better than the person that is the incumbent as we speak, start laying the groundwork now and be bold about it, because MPs and the politicians we have now are very shameless about, whatever it is they're doing in parliament. So be shameless as well, be bold, go out there, tell the people what your ambition is. Anza kuuza sera saizi, and you will be surprised, people will actually believe in you. So I think that we're not just going to change this country at the ballot for just because we're going to change it at the ballot. The youth have to present themselves to be elected in these positions. So start doing the work now. And this message, I think, should be preached, and perhaps even KOT, as you go to the ground and talk to the people there. Tell the people that if they're ready for political positions and they think they can do a better job, let them start presenting themselves to the people right now. Let them start selling their manifestos and what their agendas are to the people right now. Let them get ahead of the incumbents, because that's the only way this is going to be done. I think that my social media pages are exactly as my name appears on, which is on Jeremiah, which is here, and on Instagram and on Facebook. Perhaps in terms of sharing my number, I think maybe you mean that in a private setting. I'm more than happy to if you need any of my assistance. And that was all for the evening. Thank you so